Hey guys, so I was just outside with the babies. Um, Looks like it's about to rain, so I was outside with them for a couple minutes before they toddle off somewhere. Um, but I'm making really great progress with Lilith, and because she's so small, she's a baby technically still. It's easier, kind of like with Miko. When Miko started first coming around here, you go near her, and I tried to pick her up, and she was like, she did that little stay away from me face. Now she's my best friend out there. She comes out, I go out there, and she's like, "Grandpa." Like she knows her grandpa. Uh, and she still does it. I'll sit down at sit in the chair, and she'll come running over, and she'll sit right, by my feet. And then if I go over and lean over the banister, she'll come over and sit at my feet again. And if I go back and forth, she just follows me wherever I go. So she knows who her grandpa is. She loves me. Um, so, but Lilith is like Meowsy in the sense of like she's a scaredy cat. You try going near her, she'll run off. And just like I had to with Meowsy, the best time to pet her is when she's eating. And then once you start petting her, sometimes like yesterday I picked her up and she seems to be perfectly fine when picked up. And I held her for like 5 minutes today. Like I just came inside and she was sitting with me, she was purring, and then when I tried to, she wouldn't let go. She wanted to stay. She kind of like nuzzled her face right up here, and I'm like, "See, it's not that bad. I'm not gonna hurt you." You know, you have to talk nice to them. You have to show them that you're not gonna hurt them. I mean, she knows I'm not. I feed them. She's like, "Okay, this is the person who feeds me." Um, but yeah, I picked her up and I held her, and she just, first I was holding her like this, and then she tried to like maneuver herself, and ended up sitting straight up and nuzzled her face into my beard, and she's so sweet. She's so tiny. I think she was a runt or something, because I know she's not Meowsy's kitten. She's the other cat that comes around. She looks just like her. I don't know where that other cat just comes around whenever. Same thing with Lucifer. He hasn't really been around. Um, I saw him Friday. He usually stays up on the side of the house now. Um, Friday when I was going out to the bus, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen Lucifer. But then as I'm, going up through the front, there he is. I don't know if it's next door neighbors or her brother, but I saw a thing of food out there, so I don't know why he's staying over there though. It's closer to the street, the road up there. But I mean, he comes around. It's not like a venti thing where he was gone for days or whatever at a time. No, he's still here. It's just like he kind of hangs out in the front more. So, but yeah, Lilith making a lot of progress with her already. So, I mean, that's the whole point. You want to get them to the point where you can pick them up, where they're not afraid of you, where they're not afraid to come over to you. Like I said with Miko, she was afraid, and she would hiss, and you know, when she was like teeny tiny, but then you start training them and you start interacting with them, and she's like, "Oh, he isn't really that bad. I don't think I have to hiss at him anymore." Because again, I go out there and sit down. The first thing she does is run over to me. I mean, she doesn't like to be held that much. I mean, I'll pick her up and I'll hold her, but it's only for like a few seconds. She's not going to be the cat that likes to be held. None of the cats, even Venti, I mean, even he tolerated it, but he would rather just sit in your lap. He wouldn't like to be held. Now, Sam likes to be held. I mean, you guys see him all the time. He's constantly coming in here, jumping up and nestling himself right there. So he likes to be held. But Miko doesn't like to be held. Meowsy, I mean, you can pet her, you can rub her belly even, but the minute you pick her up, she fucking spazzes. But Lilith seems to be the opposite. She likes to be held. And definitely seems like she's more like her mom because her mom Her actual mom, not Meowsie's kind of taking her in. You'll look out there and she'll be cleaning her and all that. But her actual mom, she's the same way. She's kind of a frightened cat, but she'll sit there on the table and I'll go over and I'm like, hello, little one. And I'm able to pet her and I'm able to pick her up. So she's more like her mom. Well, she looks just like her too. Um, except her mom's a bit darker. Her mom's like a dark gray, whereas Lilith is like a light gray. But they look pretty much alike. I mean, it's like, well, John, they're cats. No, when you really look at cats, no, they don't look though. You know, they might have similar looking patterns and stuff like that, but no, just like humans. Um, but yeah, I've been going out petting her while she's eating, picking her up, and like I said, she just kind of sat with me for like 5 minutes, and I walked around and I tried to put her back onto the ground, and I was like pulling her away. She's like, no, no, no. She would pull herself back in, and she kind of fixed herself so she was straight. I was holding her like this rather than like this. And like I said, you could feel her purring because like my hand was on her back and you could feel the purr. And I'm like, oh, it's like, see, you're purring. It's not that bad. So yeah, I'm making a lot of progress. She's still so tiny though. I mean, they're eating well. I mean, I go out there and feed them. Maybe I feed them twice a day. She feeds them twice a day, so they're getting plenty of food. So, um, they're not going hungry. They've got plenty of water out there, fresh water. I think she went out there and fed them like there's like chicken or something that she put out there, like eat large pieces of chicken. So they're spoiled. Um, but still got a lot of growing to do. I mean, I think especially Miko. She's like what 3 months at this point. I feel like she should be bigger, but then when you look at her when she's next to Meowsy, it looks like she's, I mean, definitely a lot bigger than what she was. But I feel like she's growing a lot slower, which it's not a big deal. Mentally she's obviously more matured. And I remember when we got Sylvanas. Sylvanas now is still, she's like fucking old, like 8 years old, and she's still tiny. Compared to the rest, she's really tiny. She's thin, and it's not because she doesn't eat, because she eats a lot. Like you'll put the food, we'll put food out for them, and then not only she go for hers, but then she'll try to go for everyone else's. She eats and eats, and it's like, okay, Sylvanas, everyone is done eating except for you. Um, she eats plenty, and when Daddy goes over there, he spoils her. If Daddy's eating something, and I'm at the table, she's right there. She's like, meow. I'm like, okay, here. Like if I'm eating something like a sandwich or something that has cheese, I'll just take some cheese and give it to her. And my friend's like, don't spoil her. I'm like, I have to. Daddy doesn't get to see them often, so when Daddy's over here, Daddy has to spoil them. So, but Sylvanas is extremely small. Even like I said, even 8 years old, she's not fat. She's still, small in comparison to like Mitty or Ava, but they're all the same age. Different, several months apart, but all the same age. But yeah, I think Miko and Lilith are probably going to be the same way. They're going to be like Sylvanas. They're going to be, you know, tiny, petite, you could say. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean they're unhealthy. It's just all cats are different. Like look at fucking Sam. He's a fucking big chungus. Look at even Potato Chan. She used to be super tiny. Now she's fucking huge. She's huge. I didn't expect her to put on that much weight, but she's huge. So, my friend also has a cat named Sean, and he was the runt. And, he's special needs. And same thing, he was the runt, but he's fucking humongous. Like, I go over there and I'll pick him up, and I'm like, ugh, because he's so big. So, cats grow different stages and different sizes, and takes them sometimes longer to get to the full, a bigger size, but doesn't mean they're unhealthy or anything. It's just depends on the cat and the breed and this and that and genetics. But For Miko, she's growing. You know, Meowsy, look at Meowsy. She's really not that big. So, but then you look at Venti, he's a big boy. So Miko's, you know, being the daughter of both of them. Um, but I don't know who the father of the other cat of Lilith is. So I just know the mama, and the mama's a decent size. You know, she's pretty hefty. She's very solid. You know, it's not like fat. She's very solid though. If you know, if you can kind of understand what that is. You know, like when you pet her, she's large, or rather, like I said, solid. So it feels like a lot of muscle. You know, if you feel her sides or something, it's like solid muscle. So it's hard to explain, but the moral of the story is Lilith is getting used to me, and she's a sweet cat. I haven't seen Miko's actual sister in a while. I think the lady next door probably saw her and took her in, like she did all the others. She takes them in and then she gave them to good homes. So I think that's what happened to the other baby. Is next door probably saw her and took her in, which is fine. That means all the babies have good homes. And Miko, of course, is here with Mama. But anyways, that's it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.